Welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War, and we're gonna go and kill us some Eldar today. I'm playing the Necron on the hard difficulty, and we're doing a total conquest of the planet and going to complete all primary and secondary objectives.
Eldar rely on stealth and trickery where others trust in direct force and valor. An ancient and debased people, the aliens only sully their hands in battle when they have no choice. When the Eldar's enemies at last tracked down their hidden base of operations in Tyrea, the far-seer Taldir turned to a strategy of trickery. In this, she followed the ways of her ancient and deceitful race. Her forces were centered on a great reinforced hill in a remote, frozen area with very limited access. To cut off these access points, the far-seer lured Cat's Paws to Tyrea. Orcs, dissatisfied with the war of Warlord Gorguts, followed advice whispered by Taldir's warlocks and camped right where they could screen the Eldar from attackers. The Eldar, nevertheless, built a substantial force of their own. Advanced webway gates allowed them to ferry troops from the Wraith ship hiding behind a hollowfield somewhere in the Cronus system. But these same gates were the Eldar's great weakness. If attackers could take and hold them, Taldir would be cut off from reinforcements and any hope of escape. Alone and outnumbered, the Eldar would be caught in their own trap.
All is prepared.
Excellent. Ex-Africanus, take your warp spiders to their positions and then return to the Aspect Shrine.
We are on our way.
You have doubts, Harlequin?
I trust in your vision, Taldir of Oathway, but to stand surrounded by primitives makes me uneasy.
I understand your distaste, but Eldar rely on speed and stealth. We are not made for entrenched positions. The Orcs, however, make for excellent tools. They will keep the supply roads closed and our true enemies weak.
And if these attackers defeat the Orcs?
I do not doubt they will overcome our Cat's Paws, but it will cost them. And in their weakened state, they will face the Wailing Doom itself. The Seer Council has named the young king. Exarch Racanus of the Warp Spider Shrine shall sacrifice himself to awaken our most powerful warrior, the Avatar of Cain.
None shall escape my wrath.
Alright, I actually remember this mission because there's actually multiple ways to do it. You can do it the way you're supposed to.
Come for me, Necron, and I await.
Finally, you accept the inevitable.
And that's, you have to go around, you kind of capture everything, and then at the end you capture the 3 critical locations, and you hold it for, I want to say, 10 minutes or something, and then you automatically win the mission because it's like you've sealed off the webway gate. You can also try to do an incredibly challenging total conquest like kill, where you wipe out the enemy base, and that will bring it to an end as well, but you literally have to destroy like all of their units and all of their buildings in order to do that, and then they'll continually swarm in more units, and they're massively buffed up with the Avatar, and he sometimes likes to hide in the base and not get himself killed. But part of me feels like, given that this is like we're fighting against our ancient enemy here, I feel like I should try to do the total conquest victory where we take out the whole base, and that can show you guys that that is actually possible. Now it's very, very challenging, and you know, certain factions of it are better at it than others. I think, you know, at being the Necrons, we should be pretty effective with it because we will have access to the Awakened Monolith, which should allow us to keep reproducing units inside the base as they're getting killed, and then we can keep resurrecting units as well. And then we also have, you know, our immortal hero when he transforms or morphs into the Catan. But we'll see. You know, I may say screw it and just want a quicker ending, and then I'll just do the objectives. I mean, I'll complete the objectives anyways. I think if I do a total conquest victory, I'm still going to count that as a primary, secondary objective, because you're still winning. You're just winning the primary objective in a second way instead of what's intended, because the game will just automatically concede to you once you take out their base, instead of making you then capture the webway after you've destroyed everything and they no longer have anybody there. It's very difficult for you to take out their whole base because of the mechanic where they're totally summoning in, or continually summoning in new units, because those are meant to be the forces that are sieging you to stop you from holding the webways there, and instead you'll just be immediately engaged into pretty intense combat with them. So we'll see. Like I said, we'll have to see how this all plays first. I see it's doing its little buggy thing again, where it's cutting the audio cutscenes again. It's so weird. But effectively what it told us is that there's orcs in the northeast there that'll keep attacking us.
No, leave them be! The squiggers ain't trained yet. I don't want to get stuck scraping bits of you after their feet.
And then there's also a city to the west that you'll attack. Now, I remember that city, and what it actually is it's not truly an Eldar city, and well, it is, but then when you go over there to attack it, it'll warp away, and then chaos shows up on the map. Now, I don't know if that will automatically happen if we don't trigger the events, or how that'll exactly play itself out, but we'll find out. I think what I'll do is likely attack the orcs, because there's, you know, 2 requisition points and a power generator over there. So that should be the best option for our economy, and then allow us to get bigger armies. And I don't recall if Chaos actually will attack you or not, so instead of potentially aggroing a second faction to be attacked, well, I guess it would be a third, because we're going to have Eldar attacking us, and then the orcs and potentially Chaos. We'll just try to prevent the activation of the forces of Chaos until the very end. Because again, in order to complete the primary, secondary objectives, we will have to activate that, and I think we have to kill a sorcerer or something, and then once you kill the sorcerer, it just totally annihilates the faction like it does when you take out the HQ. Alright, let's get that energy up here. And we're definitely going to want that resurrection orb. Question is am I also going to get the shroud or not? Alright, yeah, see, these are the 3 points you have to capture and hold. That's the orc base, that's where the squiggus are that you can free, and they'll join you. Not, you can't control them, the AI does it, and then they'll just attack things randomly. But unlike the orc campaign where, yes, it switched them to a different faction and they were neutral and it would attack you or other people, the squiggus won't attack you when you free them. So you can use them either to help you take down the orc base, or I don't know if they'll actually attack the Eldar or not. I'm not sure how far that'll go. I don't remember. Alright, let's get that stuff built up here. And we're probably going to need to start getting an army going here. Alright, try to take out these. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to do damage to the vehicle. I wanted to try, though. But yeah, these Vipers with their little missile attacks do a surprising amount of damage to the buildings. Now, unfortunately, I don't think there's any way I was going to guarantee something not to get killed. It's Looks like I'm either going to lose it against the Eldar or I'm going to lose it against the Orcs here. Well, maybe if they start attacking the pariahs, I can save this turret. Eventually, they're likely going to make these tank boys become invisible, and then I'm not going to be able to attack them anymore. So we got to pull them in towards the turret, so it'll be within its detection range. Because I seem to recall the forces the Orcs actually attack you with that can be pretty substantial as the map goes by. So you don't want to let the Orcs go crazy and expand uncontested. And then it would be pretty cool if we could get the Orcs to give us a couple of looted tanks, because that'll have pretty significant range, and that should also allow us to then use them to act as artillery while we're sieging the main city. We could also try to take land raiders, or not land raiders, predators from the Chaos Forces, but I think I'd rather have the looted tanks because they have the indirect fire, whereas the predators only have direct fire. So it should be easier to keep the looted tanks alive, especially if we're going to be fighting a lot of fire prisms, because I seem to recall that's what makes killing the Eldar so difficult, is they'll just make tons and tons of fire prisms, which will just blow apart your vehicles, and then it'll also cause significant disruption because we'll have an infantry force. Alright, let's see here. I guess we're just going to keep building you guys up here. Because I think the warriors are pretty decent against the Orc forces. Alright, so it looks like we are now maxed out. So we'll have to set up some armies here. And decide where I want to be creeping. I think that should be pretty decent. And these guys can keep making the generators. Given how frequent these assaults are, I doubt I'm going to be able to hold that, but we can at least try. Now, the other thing I remember about this map is you'll find webway gates around, and you can kill them But if you leave them there, what they'll do is they'll start summoning in a bunch of sentry turrets. And so you can pick off the sentry turrets on different areas. Like if I stayed away from here, now that it's been activated, if I let my guys get exposed, then you can see others started to warp them in. But if you don't want to deal with it in kind of a piecemeal approach, when you start to siege the base itself, then there'll just be like 50 turrets there, and that can be annoying to kill all at once. But it's not overly challenging, and then it just allows you to be in one area with your endgame army, so you just have to pick and choose what's easier. I mean, obviously the easiest option is you just let them warp in and then you take on little armies at a time of turrets instead of one massive force, but I tend to just find it to be faster to just be killing them. Yeah, I didn't expect that I was going to be able to hold that. Alright, that looks like some artillery, so I'm guessing that means there's likely some looted tanks around here. Of course, they're on the elevated position there. And another audio clip did not go off as it's supposed to. Alright, we got some orcs over here. Fortunately, that looted tank is doing some damage to me. I don't know if you're going to be able to possess... No, he's way out of range. Alright. Oh, and he killed our lord there. Oh, and there's looted tanks behind us, too. They've just about killed our whole army. This is not good. Well, let's just finish this off then, since I don't have any guys around us right now. I hate to do that, because that's probably the easiest tank to take under our control. Frickin' mega knobs are killing us. Alright, let's get you back up to here. Pull you back.
I knew today was gonna be special.
Start resurrecting our guys and repairing them. Oh man, those flash kits. They're just melting my forces here.
To battle.
Alright, let's just kill these guys. Alright, we got a looted tank for us to take. Alright, let's put down that stasis field, because that should stop them from attacking us while we're trying to capture it, since they killed us last time. Alright, we got that under our control. Alright, let's just warp you out of there since you're about to die. Try to keep you alive. And then hopefully, since I'm attacking the base, they won't counterattack my requisition point. Alright, good.
Bloody Eldar trick me.
Work base down.
We encircled your orc pawns in the mountains, Eldar. And now our forces have regrouped. It is time to end your tricks.
I seem to recall there's like a bunch of mines over here. Yeah. Probably gonna end up losing that turret. They've actually aggroed their attacks onto a different model. Well, let's start attacking the Eldar then. Because we're stuck kind of waiting for us to take requisition points to be able to make more units. Okay, so it is just going to activate these guys to warp back even without me going over there. You get the cinematic if you went to the west first.
Return to the main base. Let our enemies fight amongst themselves.
Get them! Get them all!
Alright, let's set that up. That'll get us our next area. Shit. The looted tanks are over there. So here's some of those sentry guns that we were talking about that are all going to be grouped together because I didn't let them warp in. And because our Necron Lord is just so tanky with all of his range damage reduction, then we can make him immortal. It's like, what does it matter? Killing all these turrets, not an issue. The thing I don't like is that we're getting harried by the fire prisms.
The Eldar has tricked us. Destroy these mechanical monstrosities, and then find me that alien witch.
Alright, these guys will just keep attacking.
We thin, then disappear.
Alright, let's just
Velocity
keep
and
coming
remain
down
strong,
here.
Classiest, but the webway gates to your raid ship are vulnerable.
Our course is clear then. Protect the gates at all costs. Without them, we may never escape this world. We must drive the attackers back.
Alright, let's start making a little bit more of a force. Because they won't rebuild the base that's out here. They will rebuild... Actually, I don't know if they rebuild the main base either, but obviously the main base is way more fortified than what we're doing here.
Crossworld Ulthway will never stop opposing you, Necron.
The analysis of your technologies is complete, Eldar. We know you cannot escape this world without your webway gates. We will take them from you, and then purge this world of your race.
Alright, let's just keep attacking here. Now the next question is do I go towards the other direction of the V or do I start going down? I'm not sure the best way to do that. I think I'm going to keep pushing. And then what we can do is come back and then attack the Chaos space once we've locked all this stuff down. And that may also decrease the frequency of them attacking our bases as well, so I think it'll have kind of a multifaceted benefit for us, potentially. Whether it works out that way or not, I'm not sure, but that's kind of my thought process. Alright, let's start reinforcing our guys here. Well, those guys are still fighting. Oh, shit. Can't believe he just warped in right on top of my guys like that. Alright, this looks pretty good. Alright, damn it, I activated the prism cannons. That means they're probably going to blow all those guys up. Really like to not have those guys die though until we take out this part of the base. And that kind of red-orange colors because they're getting a faction-wide buff with the Avatar being alive. Alright, that's looking pretty good, actually. Alright, the V is now cleared out. I think we'll just come back. I was briefly considering attacking, but I think that's a bad decision. Wonder if I can take this relic. Sounds like there's combat happening there. Not sure what to make of that, actually. Yeah, see, that one has an anti-infantry cannon, whereas the other ones had the bright lances, so I assume the anti-infantry one's the default weapon, and the bright lance, which is an anti-vehicle version, is probably what you're paying for. But as you can see, there's more webway gates here, so not only do they use those to teleport to attack your base, but it also would call in more turrets if we hadn't already killed their turret army there. And then I think there's also ones on top of each one of these hills, too. Oh, here come the forces of chaos. Let's just kill everybody. Oop. Alright, well, I guess we're not going to capture that if they're going to come fight us. We'll get more guys up here. Alright, well, let's get you over here, I guess. I feel like I'm creeping effectively enough that I can just keep attacking with these guys. I just don't want to chance them attacking me with their army, and then I can also send reinforcements this way. Since we did suffer some losses, and we also got more guys with the points we've been capturing. So they must still have... see, they do. I'm like, they must still have stuff over here if those guys are attacking me, because we should have been blocking the path for them to be able to get to us. Yeah, see, they are attacking the leftover remnants of the Eldar. So I'm guessing once these guys were taken out, then they would start attacking us then. Alright, well, let's just meet up here and start attacking. Let's come from down here first, because that seemed to be where the Eldar were coming from. That'll also give us access to another one of these generators, which means more energy for our army. Because if we are going to do the total conquest win, we are definitely going to need a lot of resources to continually reinforce and rebuild our armies, because I'm sure we're going to get squad wipes multiple times. Unless I was just absolute shit when I was doing this the first time through. Because I recall on my first playthroughs that it would be very overwhelming and very frustrating. So unless over these last few years since I originally beat this, that it's become easier. I should still have some difficulty with it. I think it's one of the few things in this game that are actually pretty challenging from what I can remember. I also seem to recall that killing the Chaos Forces is way easier than killing the Orcs. Because one, they don't have all those turrets and banners everywhere. And then two, there's no flash gets or looted tanks everywhere to be attacking us, and the Defilers are way easier to kill than the looted tanks are. And once you end up taking out the Chaos Sorcerer, everything else dies from what I remember. I don't know where the hell those forces of chaos came from. Because we're sitting here in his base, and yet he's running around with some Space Marines attacking. I suppose I could try to capture some Defilers as well, but I think the looted tanks are probably just more damaging and more elite. So let's do that instead. Here's the Chaos Sorcerer right here, so maybe we just sit there and kill him real quick. There's so many turrets firing into me though. Well, I mean, we could take the Predators. Do I want them? Do I not want them? Alright, he's down. There we go, everything's deleting itself. As it should. Alright, Chaos Taint has been removed.
With the War Sorcerer defeated, more of us have risen from the caverns below Eldar. Our purge grows stronger with every death.
Just take us into the thick of it. Agreed.
Alright, we got you guys here. Alright, so they're definitely reinforcing that central area again. Alright, let's free the Squigus. Because I think that we'll see if they attack the base or not. I'm not sure what happens when you free them and you've already killed the orcs. Man, those guys are still building those power plants. Alright, here's one of the looted tanks. There's another looted tank. So let's... Oh, I don't want you attacking my predator. Let's have you possess that. And then because I only have 2 Necron Lords, we'll have you just kill this guy. There you go. Wait, actually, in retrospect, from my reinforcements, I think one of those was a looted tank too. Or one of those was a Necron Lord, so I could have had 3 looted tanks. Ah, shit. I forgot that I had those reinforcements up there. Wait, is that true? No, because I think I used the one from up there to get the Predator, right? Because I have 2 looted tanks right now, and then the third would have been the Predator. Okay, never mind. Alright, let's see what happens with these Squiggis now that we've killed the Orcs. Already, will they continue to attack the Eldar base or not? Alright, they're coming over here. They're going to the Orc base. They look like they're moving around. Alright, looks like they're moving towards the Eldar base there. Wait, no, they're going the wrong way. No, they're going to run off the screen, so they're not actually going to attack the Eldar base. Oh, they just ran off the screen. So, if you are in the future, just release the Squiggis to help you kill the Orc base, I guess is the moral of the story there. Damn, I was hoping a dual Squigga thing would be pretty good, because if it was, then in the future we could time it where we're attacking, and then they could have 2 of the Orc ultimate units attacking them while we're attacking from the other direction with our forces. But that is not a thing. Alright, well, let's pull these guys together. Get you over here. You guys keep pushing up this way. We're gonna have to kill those Wraith Lords again that are re-inhabiting these locations here. Yep, here they come. They're attacking with the Seer Council, too. Alright, let's get you up here. And I think what I'll do is I'll build a base over here as well. And that way we can make the Awakened Monolith over here. So we can have that help us fight.
Yeah, we're on our way.
Alright, I think we're kind of running out of building space with all these power plants that we're building here. Alright, good. Get you there. And then I think what I'll do is just build up some base defenses here. And then we'll focus on fortifying, and then we will attack the Eldar base here. Yeah, see, they're just kind of doing a continual assault on us. Yep, see, here's the fire prisms. Messing up all of our guys, and because there's choke points, when they're having these overlapping fire, they can just kill anything that's in our way. Here's the Avatar. So let's just make you invincible to fight the Avatar. And then while they're dueling, everybody else can be fighting each other. And then if everybody dies, then we can just resurrect him once he's no longer there, since he's got 40,000 health. So he's definitely way stronger than he is traditionally. We'll just keep reinforcing and resurrecting our guys here. Alright, we've almost killed the Avatar. So that'll get rid of their faction-wide buff. Alright, we're down to the last 2,000 health. Alright, perfect. He's down. Unfortunately, I think we're going to get ourselves locked into a perpetual disruption cycle here in just a second. Now, some of the heroes can get Wargear that makes it so they can't be disrupted. But obviously we don't have access to that with the Necrons here. This is actually going better than I thought it would. We've already opened up this pathway here. Although I don't think we're going to be making it any further from what I'm seeing. They're just continually summoning guys in on me here. Yeah, that's right. All the warlocks are
Just take us into the thick of it.
are detectors, so they'll be able to see what I'm doing no matter what. Yeah, see, I'm just perpetually getting knocked down, as are the rest of my forces, so I can't do anything here. I'll try to bring out the looted tanks to see if they'll help. Definitely seem to piss off the fire prisms a little bit there. Now the question is, can I resurrect all my army after we take out these fire prisms to help us? And we'll move you up here to try to start disrupting their units. Yeah, because our Necron Lord is still just getting slapped around continually. He can't even stand for any period of time. I mean, I need to get you guys spaced out to do something. I don't think I want to warp you up here. Because we're going to have those towers attack us. Alright, we did resurrect a bunch of guys, but then everybody is getting nuked into oblivion. I can't even see who's who. Really, what I need to do is just take out those fire prisms, and that'll allow our other infantry to kill their infantry. And then if I can just get up there and start taking out some of those turrets, then I can bring up our awakened monolith potentially. Or theoretically, I guess I should say. Alright. Not great. I guess the next question is maybe we should just retreat and sacrifice the guys that are here. And then attack from a different angle. That would be another option here.
Yeah, we're all right. Lunatic ready for blasting.
Because really, that wasn't a terrible push. We took out the whole front aspect of their base, so if I came from the sides and did the same thing, then we should have... we'll take out like 60% of their base. Because really, I just need to take out their support webways so they stop making so many damn fire prisms. Because that's really what's keeping them alive. The other thing I could do is just run out here and capture the points. And force them to attack me or capture the points so we're attacking from multiple angles. Kind of going under the strongest defense is a good offense. Oh shit, I just about killed one of my looted tanks here.
Let's go.
Well, of course the one that's not injured is the one that's running away. Alright, that got me up to 28, but then everybody's immediately dying again. But we're trying to take out the fire prisms.
Not allow them to hold the gates for long. Show them no mercy, brothers and sisters.
Alright, so we got 10 minutes to hold this stuff. kind of do it from multiple angles here. Actually, it kind of looks like we're making some headway. Yeah, see, they just keep getting more and more guys in here. I suppose the other option is I could just do that Catan. Yeah, see, they just warped guys in. But if I did the Catan, I could just attack the base while being immortal. But then everything's just going to be building up. See here. Actually, we do look like we're making slow progress here. Well, at least we kind of thought we were, but now I'm not so sure anymore. So now everything's back again. Alright, let's just start taking out those guys, because maybe if I can start taking those guys out, that'll make it so it's not annihilating my tomb spiders as soon as they're attacking. Or as soon as they're resurrecting, I mean. See, they just keep warping in all those guys here. But I think we actually have got ourselves a big enough foothold now that we can at least attack, because if we can attack and fight, then we can actually do some damage. And for whatever reason now, they seem to be moving with more Vipers than they do Fire Prisms. Alright, and we took out those bases in the center, so I don't know if that'll stop the infantry being summoned in or not. Alright, let's try to get rid of these webway portals here so they stop with the vehicles in perpetuity. Assuming that will stop them from making unlimited units. Because they must have as much, if not more, resources than I do. Actually, probably way more. Alright, we have success. So, we pretty much should have this in the bag. Alright, nice. Here we go. We have beaten it with a total annihilation victory condition on the hard difficulty. Definitely not an easy feat. Definitely wish I would have had that third looted tank instead of a predator. That didn't have any use. I didn't have any use for it.
Looted tank ready for blasting.
Definitely added time to our match
or we shall
here.
never see the Croft world again.
And then she has a bunch of bonus health too. As you can see, she's got 10,000 health, and then we killed everybody in the building, so now we get the total conquest. It's still the same ending cinematic, that hasn't changed. It just makes it so you don't have to wait the full 10 minutes. But since I probably spent 20 minutes sieging down their city, it was actually longer than to do the traditional victory condition.
The webway is closed to us now. We are trapped on this world. The Avatar of Cain has fallen. Go, all of you. Find what refuge you can in the wilderness of this world.
Escape is still possible, Farseer.
I do not deserve that title, Harlequin. My vision has failed us all. My fate is here, and I shall not flee from it. We must hold the enemy back!
Alright, another faction down. Booyah.
The Eldar had come to Cronus specifically to face the Necrons, and when the Deathless Army marched into Tyria, they got their chance. For all the lauded foresight of their Farseer, however, the Eldar were unable to stem the Necron tide and fell under the power of their weapons. The dreams of Craftworld Ulthway came crashing down under the metallic heel of their ancient enemies. The Necrons directed much of their energy to destroying the various Wraithbone structures left by the Eldar. This eldritch material is said to emanate directly from the warp, which seems to have offended the Deathless Warriors even more than the existence of life. The thin spires built by the Eldar collapsed as gas flares and alien blades cut them into their atomic components. Only when the works of Farseer Taldir were blasted to nothing did the Necron tide move on.
Alright, 5,000 kills, another Wargear piece. And that'll be the Gauss Flare for our last one here. So Embedded Staphylite allows the Necron Lord to fire devastating bolts of energy at his foes. So now he does 278 and 272, respectively in melee and range combat. So that should be good for us.
Alright, that was quite the battle there. But it's usually much easier if you don't sit there and try to kill the fortress, but I just got Bloodlust. You know, it is our ancient enemy, so I figured I had to try. So we'll probably do this one next time, so I'll just read the archive now, and then we can just kind of push across. So the main chain of the mountains along the western coast of Kronos' major continent. The highlands feature the highest peaks on Kronos, several Tau cities and military bases perched among the highlands before the outbreak of the current war. The Ariel Mountains shelter several large temperate valleys separated by high peaks passable only through tight passes in the north. Blizzards can cut off these pockets of habitation for months or even years at a time. Suborbital tracking report. Core Runal 2345 reporting. Indirect observation reveals the arrival of in the Tyrian hills north of our position in the Ariel Highlands of a significant number of vehicles and troops of unknown alien construction. Standard direct tracking methods reveal only minor energy surges in several of the areas of the hills. Nevertheless, the team of Pathfinders assigned to the station have undertaken several reconnaissance sorties and found evidence of alien troops moving between several concealed points. Relying on analysis received from the Coalition Command based on encounters in the Third Sphere expansions, it is probable that these signs point to action of short-range warp jump devices of some sort and holographic technologies consistent with the unaligned agents known as the Eldar. These hidden gateways should allow a large number of troops to deploy with very little chance of being detected. It is likely then that these Eldar have landed in substantial numbers in a substantial number of forces in Tyria. And transmission. All right, and then since I'm here, I might as well finish reading this one as well because we'll be attacking that. So the Rhean Jungle. Let's see. Fortify against orcs, recruits, inhabited deep jungles. We read this already. Clearings in the foliage. The shade of the canopy can lead to cool patches, but the climate is generally hot and wet, with frequent storms in the autumn and winter. Coded transmission sent by librarian Isidore Akanos of the Blood Ravens. Although the documents you provided to us suggest that the battle between our brothers and the heretics they purged occurred in the north, we choose to land in the Rhean Jungle Basin where our landers' scanners picked up a signal beacon using the sacred codes of the chapter. Our search has led us into the densest jungle infested with feral orcs and other creatures. We choose not to engage the aliens lest we sacrifice the stealth that was our greatest advantage. We track the signal beacon to an overgrown junk pile, one of the common artifacts of the long-time orcish infestation. In that pile we found battered but still intact Narthekium casings bearing the sigil of our chapter and the brief recorded message here I reproduce here. So that's where they put the gene seed when they're harvesting them. I forget what those things are called. Find here the holy progenoid glands of the brother Terius Null and the initiate Ezekiel Ramus, fallen in battle against the ruinous powers. We continue our march toward the center of the power of the heretics, but I leave here these precious organs. I fear we march to the slaughter and would have at least some of our gene seed survive the coming storm. In the Emperor's name, I beseech you to return this case to the Omnis Arcanium. In his holy name, I am Apothecary Francis of the 4th Company Blood Ravens chapter. We have no way of knowing where or when the orcs found this holy item, although we can be thankful their barbarity for disposing of it so casually. I judge the recovery of the lost gene seal to take priority over further exploration and ordered the return to Trader Varnus's vessel. I do find myself wondering at the coincidence of names, however. The records you provided us seem to be penned by one brother Remus, while this record points to the death of the initiate of the same name. Could there truly be two men in the same team with the same name? And if not, who has assumed Remus's name after his death? Bum bum bum. Alright, so with that, we'll call quits here for the day. I guess that means we're going to be jumping, attacking, probably defending, and then I'll have to decide, are we going to fight chaos or go and do something else, but we'll have to make that decision on that next episode. So with that, I'm going to call quits here for the day. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe to encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.